So I just want us to understand what safety is and what hygiene is. So when someone is talking about safety, what do they mean by the word safety? And of course, I know that everyone has their own definition of the term safety. And of course, safety, the first idea that comes to your mind, it is automatic, which is freedom from encountering any danger, or you are free from any danger. Okay, so maybe the danger can be, maybe for example, any accident or any injury or any maybe security threats. Okay, you are safe. Okay, that means you are in safety. Okay, so when you're talking about hygiene, is about your health. Okay, so the first thing that normally comes into your mind is that, okay, hygiene is about me being healthy, me preserving my health. Okay, me making sure that I am clean, or maybe my surrounding is clean, or I behave in a clean manner for me to be able to be healthy. Okay, so and that's why you see that it is good that Catherine covered the part of hygiene, which is divided into 3. Okay, so you can talk about the personal hygiene, the food hygiene, and the kitchen hygiene, and my main focus is about the personal hygiene. Okay, don't deviate from this unit, and remember our unit is food and beverage what? Food and beverage service theory. Okay, so our main focus is more on the service side. So what are you supposed to do, okay, to maintain your personal hygiene, especially when you're working in the food and beverage department? Of course, we talked in the previous sessions, we talked about food and beverage service department. We broke it down for you. Of course, you already know, if I am talking about a restaurant, the people who work in a restaurant, the names, their duties, their functions. And the last session, we covered on the areas that surround the service, that are in the service department, and also the ancillary departments that are there. Okay, and how do they relate with this food and beverage service department? So today our main focus is about the hygiene. Okay, the hygiene and the safety. What are you supposed to do, or how are you supposed to behave in case of maybe you want to work in such a department? So personal hygiene is very important. You as a waiter or a waitress working in the department, there are some of the things that you're supposed to observe. And of course, you know, from our last semester's unit, when we are talking about production, you can be able to relate that when you're working in this industry, you need to at least make sure that you are clean. Okay, you maintain hygiene, you maintain sanitation, because working in a service department, you are the meeting point between the guest and the establishment. Okay, and the service that we normally offer, their personalized service. You're going to talk to the customer is going to see you, the customer is going to be able to respond and treat you the way you look. Okay, so personal appearance is very critical for the customer. Okay, so you have to make sure that at least you take care of yourself, and also make sure that the customers feel even comfortable getting close to you, or even eating the food that you present before them. So the hygiene practices, of course, apply to both the females and the males. And number one, I think we can start from the hair, which is very critical. And why should we talk about the hair? You know, and of course, we are not working in the kitchen. But remember that you are in service, meaning that you are the point between the customer and the kitchen. Okay, the customer won't go to the kitchen to pick the food, so you are the person who is going to go to the kitchen and pick the food and bring it to the customer, meaning that at that point whereby you are taking the food from the kitchen and bringing it to the customer, you might have maybe dropped some hair into the food. Okay, and of course, if the customer is going to be able to note some hairs and all that, and of course your hair of course is not well kept and it is not clean and so on, that means that they won't feel comfortable even eating that food. So you have to make sure that your hair is tied back. And some of the hotels, I'm sorry to say, but ladies, they prefer not even to for the ladies to plait their hair. Okay, the ladies, you find that most of the time you're not even supposed to plait your hair. They'd rather have female waiters or who can be able to just comb their hair. Okay, not plaiting. Remember, some of us ladies, when we plait our hair, we remove them maybe within a month or 2 months. They have already, they have a lot of dirt in them. So if you can be able to maintain your hair short or maybe be able to comb it, that means that you will be able even to wash it and make it clean. Okay, so some hotels don't allow females to keep hair. Okay, to plait, to be specific. And also you'll notice if your hair is not well kept, especially at the collar. Okay, you'll notice that there is always some dirt at the collar, because when you lean back, of course, the oils that you apply to your hair and together with the sweat and the dirt, it will attract a lot of dirt. So you wear your shirt in the morning and within a few hours it is already dirty. And remember that in the service department, the waiters and the waitresses, we wear the white shirts and the white blouses. Okay, and of course we have to, they are usually white in color, so if you do not keep them clean, then obviously someone will see the dirt. Okay, so you don't want to display the dirt, which will make the customer not comfortable. So the hair applies also for the male. It's not only for the female. The hair also has to be kept short, especially for the male. Also make sure that the hair is short and well kept, so that at least you look even more presentable. Okay, and for the face, so for the male, make sure that also the beard, most of the time it is well trimmed. Okay, or really it should be even shaved clean. Yeah, so just for you, just to avoid maybe a lot of touching of the mustache or the beards or scratching your face, because definitely the hair keeps on falling. Okay, it's natural for the hair to fall, so you don't want to be able, whenever you are serving the guests the food and you find out that the hair has fallen on the food, which is not good at all. So let us talk about the teeth. So of course, remember, this is you are offering personalized service. You are the meeting point between the guest and the meeting point. You and the guest. You will need to talk to your guest. Remember. So, and that's why the previous sessions, I could be able to introduce some videos for you to be able to see how even you are supposed to even to talk to the guest, welcome them to the establishment, make sure that they sit, and you present them a menu. So all this, from the time you meet them from the door and you sit them down, of course you are talking to them. So you have to make sure that your teeth are clean. Okay, you have to clean them at least twice a day if it is possible, and also make sure that you control your breath. Okay, So you make sure that at least you are eating something, you chew something that is freshening your mouth. But also remember, as much as we encourage your breath to be fresh by you maybe taking a chewing gum which freshens you, so you should be doing these ones at a specific time, of course. You shouldn't be chewing, of course, when you are serving the guest. Basically, you should be chewing before even the service time. Okay, so make sure at least if you know that it is almost 10 or 15 minutes to service time or 20 minutes to service time, you just go to your changing room, maybe take your chewing gum, freshen up, and then go to serve. So make sure at least sometimes people who have bad breath, they actually do not know they have bad breath. So it is always good to be able, even if you know that some of your colleagues have bad breath, just tell them, okay? Tell them in a nice way, and offer a solution for them. Maybe you can be able to tell them maybe how to take care of themselves, maybe to be gargling water, warm water, or maybe to be able to do maybe to brush their tongue, or maybe to take some citric, maybe some lemon water and so on, for them to be able to improve their breath. Okay, so because some guests get really irritated by uncomfortable breath, and remember that one won't be nice for you, because you'll always find yourself in an awkward manner. So the hands, of course, they should be free from nicotine, and of course, we do not encourage smoking. And even if you smoke, then of course you should be able to wash your hands, freshen your breath. Also, remember that even smokers, people who smoke, their breath is not normally good. Okay, so make sure that at that time you also chew something to freshen your breath, and also if it is your hands. Okay, remember, cigarette has nicotine, and so you have to wash your hands thoroughly so that you do not touch the plates. Remember, you will always be touching your plates while you are serving your guests. So in practical, you will be able to see these things practically, and you'll be able to note. This is the reason indeed why the lecturer was telling us not to, to maintain the hygieneness of our hands and so on. So still at hands, make sure that also your fingernails are short. Okay, fingernails should always be short. They should always be clean, and if possible, do not wear nail polish. Okay, for the ladies, most of the time, do not wear nail polish. And I know, guys, I don't know what happens to your small finger. Dennis, can you hear me? Dennis, this question is for you. Okay. So why do men, boys, the male gender, especially the small finger, why do you always keep a nail? You cut all the nails, but that specific finger, the small finger, you do not cut the nail.
I don't know anything.
Yes, Dennis?
I don't know. Maybe they think it looks cool.
Yes?
Maybe they think that it looks cool.
Please try to speak up, Dennis, please.
Maybe they think that it looks cool.
Does it have a specific purpose?
I don't know.
You should research and give us the feedback next session. Okay? Try asking your fellow friends. I even noted, even my brother keeps the same nail. I don't know. Most of the male, they usually keep that small finger. Okay? The nails, both of the hands. So I think anyone who has a reason, you have ever seen it and you have asked and you already know why. Anyone? Anyone who knows? Why do they have to maintain that nail? Okay. So Dennis, you'll do a research for us to be able to understand, okay, unless it is a legit reason, maybe we can excuse that. So that the nails should always be short, just not to keep dirt and also to avoid contamination during the service of food. So the feet is also very critical because most of the time during service, of course, you can't serve a guest while you are sitting, okay? So you need to be standing. And of course, the hospitality industry, of course, most of the time we are always on our feet, okay? So you need also to take care of your feet. It's very important to make sure that the nails are, the toenails are well trimmed, they are kept clean, and also and also maintain, maybe for example, if it is the shoes, also make sure that the shoes that you're also wearing, they are comfortable for you. Don't wear something which is too small or too big. Just wear something that is of your size, okay? And in matters of using cosmetics, and of course here I'm going to talk about the makeup, especially for the ladies. Please go minimal with your makeups. Make sure that the makeup that you wear, it's a nude makeup, okay? Something that cannot be seen, okay? Something that can be seen just from afar. And of course, we do not allow maybe lipstick, which is so shouting. At least where maybe if you just go minimal with any makeup that you may choose maybe to use. And of course, deodorants. We recommend the use of deodorants, but something that we try not to overuse is the perfumes, okay? Deodorants will always make you fresh. They will, especially if you do not wear deodorants and you are someone who sweats a lot. I know some people who do not even sweat, especially my mother. Okay, my mother does not sweat, especially in the armpits. Okay, and also my sister, she does not sweat in the armpits, but I'm also someone who sweats a lot. So for me, it is very important for me to be able to use the deodorants because it controls also my sweating and also doesn't make it smell so bad, okay? So you can even imagine someone who sweats a lot and they do not use the deodorants. Definitely that smell is not good, okay? Everyone can relate, even your own smell, okay? You just feel that it is very uncomfortable for you. So you can imagine what happens to the next person. So you make sure that at least you know yourself, you know what works for you. So use a deodorant, okay? So know that if you sweat, there's a solution for you. Go check for deodorant, which is good for your skin, and that and you'll get sorted, okay? So in matters of perfume, yes, using perfume is okay, but use mild perfumes, okay? Especially Moraa. These perfumes for Moraa, they walk, uh, they walk past you and you are like, oh my goodness, okay? So if you are allergic, then that means trouble for you. See, we all know about them, okay? We know these perfumes. Do we? Respond.
Yes.
Do we know
Yes.
these irritating perfumes? Do you even have a friend who wears them? Caro, you have an example?
No. No, but I know them.
Okay, so there are other perfumes which even make you get a headache. I really don't know what they normally mix with. Okay, So their scent is too strong, and sometimes people, actually I can't even stand a very strong perfume because I get a headache. Okay, so even if you're in a matatu, just imagine you're in a matatu, and those times wherever when it is a 14-seater and you're seated 14 people, and then the windows are maybe closed, and the other person who is next to the window cannot even open that window for you. So you end up, like you can even faint. Okay, so it is not really good to be able to use these perfumes, and especially us being in this industry, it is very important for us to use mild perfumes. There are always mild perfumes in our supermarkets, in the shops. You can just wear it, smell nice, but it does not affect the other person at all. Okay, so some hotels offer actually, there are hotels, maybe you're their worker, they even give the service people, even the ones in the kitchen sometimes, but basically in the service, they already know the importance of hygiene, and they will always give you deodorants. Some hotels even offer each and every month, they can supply you with the deodorant, soaps, towels, and so on, for you to maintain the hygiene, the personal hygiene. So just remember, the perfumes always should be mild. Don't, or if it is possible, even wearing the deodorants itself, it is good. So I've already talked about the nail polish, which sometimes we call the nail varnish. So ladies, it is unacceptable to be able to apply the nail polish, because the nail polish keeps on removing. Okay, so especially there is this quality which chips off all the time whenever maybe you touch water, or maybe it has overstayed. So just to avoid any accidents, maybe it falling in the food, do not wear. The uniform is very important. It is very important, especially for the waiters and the waitresses, or the staff members who are working in the food and beverage department, or rather even in the entire hotel. Okay, so our industry requires us to wear uniforms, and that's why even you're even given a list of some of the uniforms to buy for you to be able to fit into the department. Okay, so each department has its own uniforms, and in the beverage department, so you'll notice that the uniform, most of the organizations just go with the basic, which is universal, which is black and white. Okay, maybe you have a black trouser or skirt, and you have a white blouse or shirt, then you have your bow tie and half coat. Okay, and of course, the uniform should be designed according to the department that you are in, and also just to fit you well. And that's why you find that most of the time, especially in the food and beverage department, or rather even in the hotel, they have their own tailor. Okay, someone who just takes your actual measurements. They make sure that the uniforms fit you well, and they are respectful. Okay, so they can't give you something which is too tight. And whenever you are buying these uniforms, especially for the service, please try not to buy things that are too tight. Okay, tight clothes make you uncomfortable. Just buy something that is of your size, something that can work with. At the end of the day, it is just a uniform. It does not, you won't be wearing it at home. You won't be wearing it to your special functions and so on. So if it is a uniform, just wear something which is comfortable for you to work in. So do not go with specific designs or something that is too tight. So the main reasons as to why the waiters have to wear uniforms, or the waitresses have to wear uniform, number one is to create uniformity. Okay, so each and every time you walk into a restaurant, you're a guest. Just presume that you are walking into a restaurant. Maybe you are walking into Hilton Hotel, and you are working. You really need to associate someone. Okay, Maybe if you see a certain uniform, then you will know that, okay, this is a waiter, okay, I can be able to ask maybe for a drink, I can be able to ask maybe a question. If you see a different uniform, then you'll know that, okay, these ones are maybe working in the front office, I can be able to ask maybe some information about the hotel and so on. So the uniform creates uniformity within the staff. So all those staff working in, maybe, for example, in the food and beverage department will just be equal, okay? So you won't be knowing who comes from maybe who comes from Odaiga, who comes from Kibera, who comes from Kisumu, who comes from, you cannot be able to differentiate. Neither can you even be able to differentiate them even from their own ethnicity, because they will just be equal and uniform. So another reason as to why uniforms are very important is for you to be able, of course, to identify staff who are working maybe in the kitchen and the ones who are working in the front office or in the food and beverage service department, who have already talked about it. At least you can be able to know this is the right person to be able to talk to, and maybe associate them with the various departments they are working in. And the other reason is to ensure that the staff are neat and smart, and they are well groomed, of course. Whenever you wear these uniforms, all of you, let's say you are 30 or 20 wearing the same uniform, at least you look so good, you are smart. It doesn't matter whether you could afford maybe an expensive clothes or an expensive shoe or rather anything. So you'll just be equal, okay? Equal, smart, neat, because everything is it is of the same color, design, and so on. So, and also it is also to attract customers, okay? So if you are if you wear uniforms which are good, presentable, so the customer also can be able to feel comfortable, because sometimes these uniforms always get cleaned by these uniforms are always left behind in the hotel as you change on to your home clothes, so that they are cleaned by the laundry department, okay? So that they clean them for you, they even iron them for you. So in the morning when you come, or either shift you are working in, you always find the clothes, your uniform well presentable, okay? So it will always be attractive to the customers. So another reason, of course, is to we wear uniform is to avoid fatigue, especially when you're putting high heels. Remember, in the if you are working in the food and beverage department, or rather any department in the hotel, it is not recommended for you to wear heels, okay? So there's provision of shoes, just like taffy shoes, okay? The ones that you are that are really comfortable. Everyone knows taffy shoes, so you can be able to wear them, and they are very comfortable. They even you can be able even to avoid accidents with them, okay? So I think now you know the reasons as why you are wearing uniform is very important. So let's talk about jewelry. Jewelry should not be worn, okay? The same reasons as why we do not wear them in the kitchen, because they might fall in the food and cause contamination. The same way we shouldn't wear them also in the service area, because we are the point whereby from the kitchen and the guest, we have to use be the point which conveys the food. So we might drop maybe an earring or maybe a ring. So most of the time, the only jewelry that we usually allow is the wedding ring, okay? The wedding ring is always permittable. So the rest, don't wear them, but you always wear them when you go at home. So, but when you are working, please do not wear these jewelries, just in case of hygiene purposes. So sometimes questions. Some of you maybe might ask me maybe why maybe what if it is a watch and so on. So you can, a watch is allowed. You can be able to use a watch. Okay. You can wear a watch for you also to ensure that you are in time. So any question that you might be having about the hygiene, the personal hygiene that I've talked about. Any question? Is it clear? Caroline, use the mic, please. Try to use the mic. Okay, Caroline, no question. Any other person? Is it clear what you're supposed to, how you're supposed to take your personal hygiene, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do? Anything that you feel that you might also be asking that you feel like, why shouldn't I not even, do this? Any question? Try as much as possible to participate so that I know that we are together. So whenever I'm moving to the next subtopic, at least no one is left behind, okay? So let us talk about safety. So we have talked about hygiene. Let us talk about safety. Safety is very important because keeping the health regulation is quite essential for the food and beverage department to ensure that there is safety not only for the guests but also there is safety for the employees, the employers. Anyone who is working in the hotel should also be able to feel safe. Okay, so safety comes maybe by ensuring that there is a safe structure. Okay, safe structure, making that ensuring that the hotel in itself is secure. Okay, the building is safe, and also making sure that electrical and gas installations are also well kept. Safe floors and stairs, as the staircases are well covered. Okay, you might even be able to recall maybe some of the places whereby you have gone and you have found that maybe the staircases are so slippery, for example. So maybe there are some of the staircases which are of metal. Okay, so maybe there's a small spillage of water or maybe for any drink. Someone might fall down, break their legs, break their backbone, and so on. So you make sure that as much as maybe you notice that the staircases are slippery, you have to make sure at least you have covering for them, at least to make them more safe for the guests to be able and the employees to use them without any accidents. And also, all fire and emergency areas should always be kept clear so that in case of any fire, okay, people are able to get to emergency exits, and the fire extinguishers already should be in place to be able to attack the fire, maybe if they are in a position to handle it. So there should also be safe methods to access all rooms. Okay, so at least maybe, for example, let's say especially food and beverage department is always adjacent to the kitchen. There should be at least 2 doors, especially one indicated in and the other one indicated out, so that whenever maybe someone is carrying food and they're coming in and you want to get out, at least you do not collide between the two of you. At least you can be able to know that this one is purely for people who want to go to the other side and the other one's coming on the other side, to avoid such confusion and accidents to happen. Okay, so also you should be able also to know how to deal with fire whenever it occurs, for you to be able to be safe in case of the fire. So I think we talked about in our previous unit, which was production. So the same way we handle fire, the same way we should handle fire, especially when it happens in the food and beverage department. Okay, know how to use the fire extinguisher, and know each and every fire extinguisher, what is it supposed to control, which kind of fire is it even supposed to control. So I want us to talk about the safety measures. So all personnel should possess adequate knowledge of safety measures to be practiced while work. So you are supposed to be equipped with information, okay, about how to handle on how to take care of yourself, and how to also to respond to also to these dangers that might occur, and also how also to assist the guest. Okay, so sometimes you'll notice that some guests are even confused, they even don't know what goes on, so they rely on you also to be able to assist them. So you should also be equipped, and most of the hotels, they make sure that you are equipped with knowledge. There's always drills, and they always have periodic training for you to be able to be reminded of what to do in case of such incidences. And also instructions of how to use these equipments to put away maybe the fire or any other cause of danger should always be availed to you. Some of the hotels normally stick these notices maybe at the changing rooms, near the changing rooms, so that you can remind yourselves. And sometimes they even put them in the notice board, which each and every employee can be able to see, or near the fire extinguishers. Okay, so they can give you even directions on how to use even that equipment. And remember that your life is very important, and that's why you should always make sure that if you're unable to control a situation, always run for your safety first, and then come assist others later. You first of all take care of yourself, okay? So if it is a situation whereby, and I repeat, if it is a situation whereby you are endangered, okay, first of all you take care of yourself, okay, then go call for assistance for the others to be able to come to be rescued. So do not feel like you are a superman and you can take care of everything and anyone. So always try taking charge of your safety first, then call for assistance. Okay, unless it is a situation whereby you are able to control by yourself without any more help. So what are some of the causes of accidents? Okay, number one, maybe we can talk about excessive haste. Excessive haste here is whereby people are busy running in between. Okay, so you might knock down someone without your knowledge. So there is a golden rule which we say that do not run. Okay, do not run, especially in busy schedules. Because remember, if for example, if it is lunchtime and maybe you are supposed to be in a service point and you find out that, okay, you are out of time, don't run. Just you can, okay, rush, but, you know, control your pace, because people, some guests are coming in, okay? You have to be mindful that there are people who are within the establishment and there are people who are, you know, carrying out their duties as well. So never run, okay? Just to avoid accidents. You never know, you might even knock down someone and they fall into a swimming pool, or they hurt themselves so badly. So you do not want to be a victim. So there's also accidents through to distraction. Okay, distraction, maybe you are not concentrating on what you are doing. So for example, you are, let's say you are handling maybe a buffet and you are trying to maybe warm the chafing dishes at the buffet. So if you do not concentrate well, then maybe you might even spill some spirit on you and it will burn you so badly. So make sure that at least you concentrate on what you do, the job that you are doing at hand. Do not get distracted, okay? If you hear someone maybe doing maybe playing some loud music on maybe at an event and you are, you know, maybe at the buffet area, don't get distracted, okay? Know that anything small can be able to cause a big havoc, not only to maybe to the equipment, but also for you, okay? Spirit is really bad, and if it catches fire, trust me, you wouldn't like it. So another accident, of course, that can happen is through panic. So panic can also lead to confusion, and confusion, of course, can really mess up a lot of things, okay? So like, for example, let's just take an example of what happened at Strathmore. You remember? Anyone who remembers what happened at Strathmore? Anyone? Anyone here who remembers what happened at Strathmore? Strathmore University? Anyone? Am I talking to myself? If you can't remember, you say I can't remember, not like you keep quiet. Grace, do you remember what happened at Strathmore University? Grace,
Yes.
do you remember what happened to Strathmore University?
I don't.
About the drill that went wrong.
I don't remember.
So nobody remembers here something that happened. So actually, when actually I remember at Strathmore there was a drill. I don't know exactly what the drill was about, but they wanted maybe to check whether the preparedness of the students in case of any danger. Of course, a drill, whenever it happens, it tries to assist you maybe to know how to react whenever there is a certain incident that can happen. So when they had the drill, some students were not aware that it was a drill. They thought that it is, you know, a real thing. So some of them panicked, some of them, you know, got out of the windows, they broke their limbs. So it is really bad. So if you really panic can cause confusion, and it can lead you to do something that you really even couldn't have done if you were calm. So that is also another cause for an accident. So what are you supposed to do, especially when there is maybe a crisis or an accident? So of course you have to notify the relevant people. make sure that at least you notify the manager, maybe by writing about the situation. So for example, if you notice that there is a situation which might lead to an accident, so you have to write up to the manager for them to be able to maybe take appropriate measures. So just for example, if you notice like the staircases are too slippery, then maybe you can be able to highlight that, and the manager can be able to address it, maybe bring the maintenance team and take care of that situation. And of course, always learn to report these incidences to your immediate supervisors for them to write down this for them to be able to take initiative to correct the problems to avoid incidents in the future. Okay, and if it is something that cannot wait and it is immediate, you have also to contact authorities, maybe for example the fire brigade, for instance, the ambulance and the police. I think their numbers are toll free, so you can be able to call them without any charges. Okay. So procedures to take in event of an accident. Make sure that all employees should always, okay, have provision to provide first aid if need arises. Like for example, you find that most of the institutions, they go ahead and train you on first aid. So there are some accidents which are minor, something that you can handle. Like for example, if an accident happens to the guest or your colleague, so it's something that you can handle before even they get good medical attention. You can be able also to carry on first aid. And also the casualties should always be moved unless there is should not be moved unless there is absolute necessity. So remember, if these accidents happen or someone falls from the staircase, and so you remember even the case of the daughter of Keroche, okay, they say that she fell down the staircase and so on. So you find out that these accidents, they sound minor, but sometimes they might result even into death. So, and for example, if someone has fallen out from the staircase, and of course they are, they are unable to move, please do not move them. Okay, so sometimes you might find that the backbone maybe has been fractured, and if you move them, you even cause a very big danger into their lives. So it is very important, if it is, do not move casualties, okay, unless it is really necessary. Okay, that happens even if it is at home, it is in your workplace, or anywhere possible. Please try not to just pick up someone without knowledge of where they are hurt. So especially in an accident, especially this may be matatu accidents that normally happen, even people who even kill others, who make these casualties even die even faster, they're the people who even go save them. Okay, so you just try to be you are saving them, but maybe in a result, maybe you're even causing more injuries to them. So maybe someone broke their backbone and you are pulling them out of the matatu or the bus, and it is an accident. Okay, so you can just imagine the kind of impact you are creating to this person. You're even causing more injuries to the person than the injuries they had. So, and that's why it is very important to be careful on how to handle someone who has maybe gotten an accident. So I think there is much details on the notes. You can be able to go through, and of course, it will equip you to be able to know on how to handle these accidents whenever they happen. So let's talk about the prevention of these accidents. How can you be able to prevent the accidents? Number one, especially some accidents are mainly caused by slippery floors. So you make sure that there is no spills of food or drinks. So you make sure that immediately there is a spill on the floor, it is cleaned immediately. Make it so dry so that any other person who might walk there, they might not know. And remember, if the floors are of white tiles, then it might not even end up showing the water, okay? So make sure that if you notice there's a spill, clean it dry immediately. So the equipment should not be left lying down, okay? So, or stacked in an incorrect place, okay? Like for example, when we were talking about equipment in the last session, I talked about how to stock the glasses. So you just don't need to put maybe this fragile equipment anyhowly. So remember, if a glass can fall down, definitely it will hurt you and hurt you so badly. So you make sure that if it is you are carrying this kind of equipment, they are well stocked in the crates and they are free from falling. Power cables should always be checked. Make sure that the power cables, of course, is kept away from water. It is kept away from people where people walk most of the time, so that it cannot trip someone, and it can make someone fall. Or for example, if it catches water, then it can cause what? An electric shock. So I think that's some of the ways that you can be able to prevent accidents, general accidents. So what about fire? Okay, so fire, most of the time we can't say that we cannot. Fire can result from so many things, and of course, fire is one of the accidents that normally happen, and in many establishments. So, and of course, it leads to serious injuries and sometimes ends up into the loss of life of the employees and the customers. So we need to be able to ensure that we know how to handle fire whenever it happens. So fire of course can happen anyhowly, so either at home, so there is no exemption. Maybe you can say that it can only happen in the hotels, but fire is bound to happen anywhere. So how are you supposed to be able to prevent fire in case it happens? So at least have the basic knowledge of how to prevent fire, okay? Like for example, if let's just try to brainstorm. If fire was caused by maybe gas, what are you supposed to do? This question is for everyone. Okay, so maybe your partner or maybe your friend was cooking, and then maybe there was an explosion and they catch fire. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? The question is for everyone. Please answer me. Helen, what are you supposed to do? Or what could you do? Helen?
Okay.
Louder, please.
I will rush them to the sink and try and spring cold water on them.
Helen, I can hardly hear you. Try to speak out loud.
I'll rush them to the sink and try and sprinkle water on them.
You could?
rush them to the nearest sink or water and try and sprinkle water on them.
So you could pour water on them. So Helen could pour water on them. So what about you, Grace? Grace? What about you? What could you have done? Your friend was cooking and then there was a gas explosion. So what could you do? And you're with the person. And they catch fire. What could you do? Grace, I'm talking to you. Dennis, what could you do? Yes, Dennis?
I could take them, maybe cover them with a heavy blanket.
Please, louder, please, please.
I will be covered them with a fire blanket or something like that.
Okay, you could rush, get maybe a blanket or a fire blanket and cover them. Okay, that is his reasoning. And Catherine, what about you? What could you have done?
Maybe I'll try look for dry soil and pour on them.
Hey, Catherine, nowadays people live in flats. So where are you? And you are maybe at 6th floor and 5th floor. So are you going to go downstairs and, you know?
Maybe then I'll try maybe call for help, like dial 911 if I can't have SAD or something that I can put on her or him.
The immediate action, you see someone, your friend, catch, she or he has catched fire. Okay. So are you going to rush for the phone or which kind of immediate action are you going to take? So that's Catherine's idea. So Caro has disappeared. Modoni, what could you have done? Modoni, Hope, type your answers. Hope especially, type your answer because you've said that your mic, I can see that your mic is on, but it's not working. Type your answer, what you could have done. So, yes, Modoni, what could you have done?
Cover them with a blanket.
Okay, you could have covered them with a blanket. So who else has not talked? Caroline, yes, I can see Grace is typing. Caroline, what could you have done?
I would use Helen's method.
You could?
Use Helen's method. That one of sprinkling water on them.
Okay, you could get water, pour on them, right? So, Hope we haven't gotten what you could have done, Hope. Hope, according to you, what do you think you could have done? The answer shouldn't be right, of course. It's your own idea. So, Grace, you have said you would pour water on them, then go for the phone, call help if the injuries are deep. Okay. That is what Grace could have done. So, what about you, Hope? Okay, as we are waiting for responses from Hope. Hope, I thought you were typing. So Mary, I would use a blanket. Okay, Mary would have used a blanket. Hope you're waiting for your suggestion. Okay, Hope could pour water on them. Okay, so those are good ideas. According to you, that is what you could have done, but advisably, okay, since you even don't know exactly what caused the fire, okay, you don't know if, for example, because most of the time you might not be able to know the cause of the fire, if it is caused from the oil, if it is caused from electricity, if it is caused from gas explosions, and so on. For the safe way, okay, always take a blanket, okay, always take a blanket and cover the person, okay. So sometimes since you might not know the cause of the fire, you might pour water and it increases the fire, okay. So to avoid it, always to be on the safe side, okay, because you will just be in a panic mode, you won't be knowing what to do. But the first thing you should even think, always take what? Always take a blanket, cover the individual, okay. So some establishment always have the fire blanket and so on. And so, like, for example, if fire is caused by oil, always, use a fire blanket, because most of the time oil and water, whew, what do you expect? Huh? You will increase that fire. Huh? So try always maybe knowing the cause of the fire, and if there is no time also, and if there is someone who is even in danger, just get maybe a blanket or maybe something heavy and cover them, okay. So and also, you having such information can also assist you, maybe in case of any fire, or also advising some people maybe who might maybe be having such challenges. And also maybe having fire drills. Of course, organizations or the hotels will always have these fire drills where they train you, okay, maybe in case of a fire, what to do or how to behave. So this program can be given to the staff for you to be able to get for you to also practice and also try to remove panic in case of such incidences. It will also help you maybe to calm down in case such an accident happens, and for you to be able to do the right thing, okay. So of course, training sessions should always be carried out all the time for the employees who have stayed in the hotel longer, or the new employees. They also need this information for them to be able to know. So steps to take when there is fire. Number one, you have to rush to the alarm and press it, okay. Press the alarm. The sound will inform the others within the hotel that there is what? There is fire, okay. So, and in return, the person in duty will be able to call the fire department, and they will be able to see on how they can put the fire down, okay. So number one, in case there is a fire, rush to the fire alarm and press on it. And number two, do not panic, okay. So since that you are well trained on fire drill, which offers you assistance to calm down in such a manner, then you are also supposed to behave the same way. And that's why fire drills are always there within the within a specific time. Okay, you always get the fire drills for you to help you not to panic in such an incident. So do not panic. Number 3, use a fire extinguisher if necessary. If you are sure, okay, if you are sure about there is no risk in putting off that fire, that's when you should use the fire extinguisher. Only when you are sure that there is no risk for you, for your life and the people around, if you use that, and then maybe you can use the equipment to be able to put off the fire. So in an event of a fire and you hear the alarm ringing, okay, so you are not the one who was, putting on the alarm. So this time round, in case someone else puts the fire alarm, what are you supposed to do? So follow the fire instructions, okay, as laid down in the establishment. Each and every establishment, as I said earlier, they usually give instructions, okay, in case of such an incident or an accident, or in case of a fire, or in case of anything that might cause a threat, okay, they have given guidelines. So each and every institution, even Zetech University itself, has laid those instructions down. It's either you are not aware of them, but they are always there for you to be able to know what to do in case of such. So you have to follow those instructions. Then number 2, usher all the customers and the staff you work with out, okay, maybe of a specific department which you are in, you have to take them out. Then the other point is you pay special attention to customers with special needs. Of course, I say that, of course, you are a person who should always guide the customers, because they are not even aware about maybe where the emergency exit is and so on. So you will always have to, check on the customers, make sure at least they are also safe. And maybe there are customers with special needs. There are people who are asthmatic. There are people who have mobility problems. So you have to make sure if they're using a wheelchair, make sure that at least you assist them. Another next, you have to walk quickly but do not run, okay? So never run in case of any danger, because I think whenever everyone is faced with danger, the first thing they think is just run, get out of the problem. But also always try just to walk quickly, but not to run, because you might end up running and you fall down, hurt yourself, and you're not even able to even manage to reach to the next point. So walk quickly, never run, but display a sense of urgency, okay? And next, make sure that you remain calm. Do not panic whatsoever. Compose yourself and help others to reach to the emergency exit, which is normally the assembly point, okay? So also after that, ensure that someone watches to see that there are no stragglers, okay? Maybe, for example, you have taken one lot, the other lot, when they are maybe following you, then you should make sure at least no one is left behind, yeah? So another rule which is very crucial, especially when maybe you are in maybe an establishment which has lifts, never make a mistake of using a lift, okay, whenever a fire alarm goes on. Why shouldn't you even use a lift? Because some people panic and they just go off and, switch off the power point, okay? The general power point, they will go switch it off. So just imagine you are just entering into the lift and someone, went and, put it off, okay? So what does that mean? You might even end up dying or suffocating in the lift without people knowing. So always never use a lift. So And also do not or never enter into a building until you are told that it is what? It is safe to do so. Okay, so don't remember that I have, left my iPhone, I've left my tablet, I've left some money in the safe. There are some things that I wanted to get them out. Now, how am I going to get them? So never get tempted to go back to the building unless it is declared safe for you to do so. And also, never waste time to collect personal items, okay? Remember, your life is more important than worldly materials, okay? So you can always replace a laptop, you can always replace a phone, you can replace money by working again, but you can never replace your life, okay? So you have to take care of yourself and ensure that you are out of danger. So those are some of the things that you should make sure that you have followed just for you to be able to be on the safe side in case of an accident, in case of fire, in case of any other emergency that might occur.